Mutant animals have taken over the zoo, and it's up to one clever girl, Gracie, to discover that music might be the only hope to save them all and stop the chaos. But how could that be happened? Let's find out. Stay with us till the end.
Mesdames et messieurs, welcome to the Zoopocalypse!
Gracie never took her grandma's scary stories seriously, just old superstitions, right? But today, something wild catches her eye, a fierce-looking mountain lion named Dan, the zoo's newest arrival. And there's something about him that Gracie can't quite explain. At the zoo animals, kids were having fun and no one wanted to leave. But when the sun went down, everything changed. It begins with a flash in the sky, a meteor collides with a satellite, tearing through the atmosphere like it's got a mission. And then, impact, a blinding crash right in the heart of Culpeper Zoo. Landing right in the bunny lodge. Whatever came down, it brought something strange. And who's the first to check it out? Bunny Zero! Yup, cute, fluffy, and now totally terrifying. Sooner or later, the chaos kicks off. And right then, Gracie, curious about the glowing object, followed its trail. As she got too close to the glowing purple heart, something stirred. The mutant awakened, her worst nightmare. Gracie terrified, running as fast as she could, with the zombie beast chasing right behind her. She comes face to face with Dan. She freezes, completely terrified. The zoo guards step in. They shoot them. Both fall, lights out. Just like that, the chaos has only begun, and the survivors come together in one room. Gracie woke up locked in a cage, and right next to her, Dan. But they're not alone. Enter Xavier, a red-ruffed lemur with a love for movies and a head full of survival tricks straight from the big screen. Yeah, things are about to get interesting. Meanwhile, the bunny mutants start infecting more bunnies, turning into a full-on zombie army. They head straight for the monkey lodge, where Felix and Fred are resting. Fred feels something's off just as Felix tries to sleep. Then mutants attack. Fred does his best to protect Felix and finds a quick hiding spot. But here's the twist: Felix betrays Fred, leaving him alone to face the mutants. Felix runs as fast as he can toward the safe zone, and in a panic, he choices the clinic room. It's kind of funny as he struggles with the door. He finally gets it open. Ash is the last to show up, and guess who lends a hand? Yep, Felix. Didn't see that coming.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
At first, the animals were freaked out seeing Gracie and Dan locked up, all except Xavier. He was more curious, opened the cage for Gracie, while Dan must face Ash's ultimate test.
Oh, come on. No one else is in a cage. Let me out. What do I look like to you?
Bird.
What else?
Big bird.
What else? Delicious bird! Exactly. Carnivores stay in their cages.
Suddenly, Mutant Fred crashes into the door. Gracie's doing her best to hold it shut, while Dan's still fighting to break out of his cage. Then it gets crazy. Fred's creepy arm slips through the bars and grabs Felix's head. Dan knocks it away just in time. But before he can escape, he gets hit again.
On my command!
Everyone takes off without him, except Gracie. She stays behind to protect him, pulling him through the underground tunnel. Dan makes a deal. He'll be her bodyguard, as long as she keeps her promise and gives him the key. They team up, walking side by side. But just when things seem calm, guess who shows up?
Where'd that come from?
This is a zoo. Nothing makes sense here.
Bunny Zero. Yup, the fluffy chaos starter himself. And it's not your usual showdown. This moment adds a fun twist that totally breaks from your typical animated style. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew is sneaking past the mutants until Ash bumps into something. The noise draws a mutant's attention. But Xavier, thinking fast, pulls off a clever distraction to save the team. classic movie move.
A convenient plot device, huh?
Soon, Gracie and Dan reach the ball pit area, and that's where they meet Poot, the tiny pygmy hippo, all alone.
What do we do with her? She's just a cub. She'll never make it on her own.
But Gracie, being the big-hearted soul she is, decides to take care of her. They head to the pack zone. Gracie tries calling her grandma Abigail, but when she finds her, it's heartbreaking. Abigail's already mutated. As Gracie steps closer, her grandma smears slime on her. Dan quickly intervened. Then, out of nowhere, the zoo lights turn on. And what they see next? Mutants. Everywhere. Now that everything's on the line, Dan steps up, keeping his promise and fighting through the chaos to protect Gracie. They jump into the cable car system, trying to escape. For a moment, it feels like they're finally getting a break, but not for long. Mutant Fred comes back, stronger, scarier, and way more dangerous than before. Dan doesn't run this time. He turns, stands, and fights the beast with everything he's got. But in the end, he mutates and turns on Gracie. Just when it looks hopeless, a lucky twist saves the day. Dan slips into soapy water, and boom, he's cured, all with epic music playing in the background. Gracie tries to open Dan's eyes. She wants to save everyone, not just themselves. But Dan, he's only thinking about grabbing the key and running for it.
We're done.
Dan storms off with the key, but guess what? Felix, being the sneaky genius he is, steals the key right out of Dan's paws. He scrambles up the light pole, but once he hits the ground, things get even crazier. You won't believe what happens next. Felix the monkey dashes through the moonlit zoo, dodging zombie mutants at every turn.
Frogs.
His only escape, climbing the wall ahead. He scrambles up, but disaster strikes. His keys slip from his grip, clattering to the ground. Felix lunges for the keys. Too late. The zombies strike. Just when all seems lost, boom, a mysterious hand smashes through the wall, saving Felix. Yep, you're right. Dan saves Felix.
You saved me?
I saved this.
At first, Felix tries to convince him to just escape, but Dan snaps out of it. No more selfish moves. He decides to go back and help Gracie.
After all, we're both
Disappointing.
What?
Gracie finally reunited with her team and sparked a new idea, using soapy water to cure the animals. Everyone jumped in to help. Just as things were looking up, Dan showed up to back them up too, and Gracie couldn't have been happier. But the plan backfired. Instead of fixing things, it created a giant monster. Poot got infected, and Gracie felt crushed. They tried to run and hide again, but Mutant Poot came after them. Then, a miracle. When the zoo's goodbye music started playing, Poot snapped back to normal. That's when Gracie realized it wasn't the soap, it was the music all along. With a new plan, they blasted the music across the zoo. One by one, the mutants, even Felix, couldn't block their ears fast enough and turned back to normal. By sunrise, the whole zoo was saved, even Grandma Abigail and the rest of the crew. As things calmed down, Dan tried to slip away without saying goodbye. But Gracie called out. In a sweet moment, Dan handed her the key, inviting her to visit the wild anytime. Gracie was overjoyed, and so was everyone at Culpeper Zoo, ready for a brand new day.
What's everybody looking at?